Good afternoon. My name is Stefan Pierre-Louis.
My name is Zacchaeus Payton.
And today we're going to be having a conversation about Alain Locke's essay, The New Negro. So I'm going to start off first and talk about what the essay meant to me and what I grasped from it. So Alain Locke starts off with talking about how he didn't really appreciate how the old Negro was being perceived. Remember, this was a time where we were seen as property instead of human beings. We were slaves to the white man. We were just humble servants. We weren't seen as people who could contribute to that society. And that's what Alain Locke didn't appreciate. So in a way, he wanted to reinvent what the old Negro was and make it into something that was more positive to the African American. So he called it the New Negro. And he really wanted to stress the fact that this new Negro wasn't a pushover, that this new Negro had a lot of self-respect for himself. And more importantly, he wasn't ashamed of being black and demanded to be seen as a human being than just property. He really talks about a point in time in the 1920s, which was the Harlem Renaissance. And he talks about how the African American was displaying a rapid evolving life in that time in society. He was really stressing the fact that the word freedom, that they were free to go wherever they want to make a name for themselves and make a career out of it. They weren't just bounded by the South. He was also talking about how they were free to express how they felt artistically. And during that time, African Americans really expressed themselves through jazz, which we're listening to right now, and through poetry. And coming from a musical background, through jazz, it felt this was a way for African Americans to speak to their audience in a different way instead of just using words. They were using instruments, and they were using different techniques to show how they felt. It could be sad, it could be happy, it just displayed a lot of emotion. And towards the end of this essay, you saw that Locke was starting to become a little bit more optimistic of the future because of the fact that society was starting to admire and acknowledge African Americans, that they had a chance to contribute to society, that they weren't just seen as property, that they were actually human beings, that they were seen equal. So that's what made him really optimistic. And that's where today our topic talks about new Negroes. We're still seeing new Negroes today. For example, me and my partner are also new Negroes. We're not pushovers. We're trying to make our way in society and make our mark on it. And a famous new Negro that I picked was Kendrick Lamar, who is a famous rapper today, who to me raps about current issues and social injustices that are happening against African Americans. He talks about police brutalities and inequality that we're facing. And he also raps about how he's afraid of every time he goes outside, he might get shot just for simply being black. And I feel like the more people listen to his music and see what he's trying to get out and like show to the people, that it keeps bringing up the topic of why aren't we still being seen equal. And with that, I'll turn to my partner and ask how he felt about this essay.
I think the article that Alain Locke wrote was very eye-opening, and he made a very good observation. I also think that it's amazing that black people were gaining confidence and making great accomplishments and contributions to the world. His definition of a new Negro was blacks who have taken pride in their demand for equality, both politically and economically, despite the hostile racism of that time, and strive to earn a voice for all African Americans. To me, being a new Negro was an African American who is a pioneer and also someone who is not afraid to speak their mind. For example, a new Negro that I thought of was Barack Obama, because he was the first black president and he paved the way for all the other African Americans.
All right, and with that, we conclude our conversation about the essay. Once again, my name is Stefan Pierre-Louis.
And my name is Zacchaeus Payton.
All right, and thank you.